What's something that mentally and emotionally broke you? Story 1. After I found out my ex had been lying/cheating, she acted like she didn't know who I was, avoided all contact, and lied to the other dude about our relationship to make herself seem innocent. The feeling of being able to trust them with anything and just moments later completely shatter that trust. Betrayal really hurts for a long time, but as time moves forward, you realize how much better it is to have weeded that person out of your life, now surrounded by better friends/company, with new knowledge to know what behavior to watch out for in the future. Like most things in life, time makes it a bit easier to come to terms with. Story 2. I was in therapy and was nervous about my child's upcoming birthday party because of serious anxiety issues. She told me to imagine the worst thing happening, and when the party is over, I would realize everything was ok. The day of the birthday party, I received an out-of-state call from a coroner. My mom was found dead in her apartment. An investigation occurred, but it was determined she had a diabetic episode. Hit her head on the kitchen counter, bled out, and died. An hour later, my friend arrived, hysterically crying, indicating she just got a call her mom passed away. Story 3. Watching my grandma on my mom's side go through hospice. I have never seen a human slowly deteriorate like that. I was happy to think I would get to spend some time with her and comfort her because the year prior my other grandma died unexpectedly and I never got to say bye. As each day went on, she slowly lost any ability to think or properly communicate to the point that it was like her mind was already gone. When she was close to death, she was making these gargling sounds that sounded like she was drowning. That sound alone is something I will never forget. It was the worst experience of death I have ever experienced. It was literally watching a person you love just slowly fade away mentally. The amount of weight she lost in just those few days. Story 4. The most thing broke my heart is seeing my mom and dad fight every day and not divorcing. The most heartbreaking was when I saw my dad crying while my mom was screaming at him during an argument, and I had to intervene and hugged him and got him some water to make him stop crying. Wiping tears off my dad's face broke me that day, and then went to my mom to do the same. That was actually the first time I ever hugged my mom and my dad, and that was to stop them from arguing while both of them were crying on my shoulder. It was sad moments. Story 5. I found out my wife was cheating on me with a lot of people 6 months after our daughter was born, and 2 months after my mom died suddenly in her sleep. I'm broken, but I have keep the good side out and keep going for my kids. Story 6. Just shy of 9 years together. Now I'm single at 30 for the first time in my adult life and not adjusting well. First time living alone and with no close friends. It's pretty hard some days. Trying to find myself and better myself. It's not been all bad. I've lost about 20 elves, got a new haircut and better clothes. My apartment is decorated better than our house ever was. I'm just glad we never got married or had kids. Selling a house was hard enough when he was too wrapped up with his new man to bother putting in any of the work. Story 7. I was going through the beginnings of a divorce unbeknownst to me. It was March 2020, and my birthday just happened to be on the day they announced the initial COVID lockdown. I got home late from work, and my wife at the time had done nothing for my birthday. I was in my 30s, didn't really celebrate anymore anyway. But no card, no gift, not even a mention of my birthday. And she'd eaten the last of my post-work meals. And of course, everything is shut down and closed early, so I go off trying to find a gas station for a protein bar. I'm not really that put out. It's par for the course. But I wake up early the next morning to take care of our 6-year-old. He's autistic and emotional connection isn't always the highest on his priority list. But I'm in his room at 5 in the morning, and he says, "Daddy, it was your birthday yesterday. How come you didn't get any presents?" I made something up, and he asks, "Will you get any today?" I say, "Probably not, pal, but it's okay." Grown-ups don't really celebrate birthdays like kids do. He goes into his closet, gets all his construction paper, and starts taping it together. Then he starts wrapping up his own toys and arranges them in a pile of presents. He says, "This is for you, Daddy." And he and I opened up presents for my birthday. I don't remember a lot of my birthdays, but I remember this one. Story 8. 10 years ago, I was falsely arrested for a DUI. I was acquitted, but I lost everything in the processes. It wasn't just the arrest, it was the whole system and procedures along the way that broke me. I had always defended cops and the judicial system, but you would never know unless you are pulled through it. First, after the arrest, I was fired. I was a bar manager for a huge HOA near Yosemite. I guess they thought of me as a liability, but when I asked why I was fired, they said, "We won't have to give you a reason." But I later found out that was the reason. Then I just watched my house foreclosed, my car stolen and destroyed, and everything else's storage auction went away. By the time I was arraigned, it was all gone. I watched how the DA kept extending and prolonging the trial, saying he was still investigating, while my court-appointed lawyer kept getting me to pull bargain. I had to show court every time, so all they were trying to do is get me to not show. Nobody cared if I was innocent. They just want their conviction percent to stay high. Anyway, I was found not guilty in 10 minutes by a jury. It took 5 years of my life, and no lawyer would call back when I wanted to sue. Cops are untouchable. I'm a whole different person since this occurred. I hate going anywhere. I don't trust anyone. I hate cops and courts, and I don't trust them keeping us safe anymore. It's just a business, that's all. Cops pull in the sales and courts make sure pay. Story 9. Parasailing accident. Boat pulling us lost all electricity after a larger boat passed, and it crashed hard over the wake. I was 800 in the air, attached to a steel contraption with my 2 kids on either side of me, with a mass of ropes above us leading to the parachute/sail. It created enough drag that the impact wasn't as horrific as it could have been, but plummeting hundreds of feet through the air into the ocean, and then realizing the metal contraption is pulling you and your kids under. My son couldn't get on his back, so his life vest wasn't working properly. My daughter was screaming because her arm was tangled in the rope. My son was 7, she was 9. The Coast Guard was called in for a rescue. Fuck, it was in 2020. I will never be the same person. I have flashbacks every day. Story 10. Not getting the proper medical attention I knew I needed/not feeling heard by medical professionals. I had a horrific case of food poisoning, Campylobacter, which is actually fairly common but presented abnormally in me. Ear doctors and urgent care kept telling me I was probably just pregnant, which there was no way at that time for that to be possible. Begging for tests to be done, but being denied because I was probably pregnant. I couldn't eat or drink anything because I would immediately start cramping and faint. This went on for a week before I found an ear that did a CT scan and tests and discovered the bacteria. I thought I was dying.
Write us your story in the comment. I will choose the best stories and make a video of them in the future. Also, do not forget to like and subscribe.